everyone, we are super happy to have Ron Shlien, kind of like Klein with the schla at the beginning. Ron is an accomplished entrepreneur, investor, and STEM pioneer who, as a teenager, conceived and built the world's most innovative educational franchise system. It's called the Mad Science Group. And we'll give you all the information in the show notes, but it's at madscience.org. Mad Science has supported over 75,000 young adults with career-oriented employment, inspired 80 million plus children, and delivered 10 million live in-person activities in over 200 markets and 29 countries around the world. While his career has primarily been devoted to this one enterprise, Ron has become a business professional whose strategic skill set has led to many other successful mission-driven ventures. And we're super happy to have Ron Shlien on the show today. Ron, thank you so much for coming on the My K12 Career Show. Can you please share with our viewers what's going on in your life and in your career right now?
Well, first, Dr. Joe, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is an exciting opportunity, so I'm glad to be here. So Mad Science, it's been around a long time, as you mentioned. I co-founded the company with my brother. I was 13 years old. I thought science was fun, and I wanted to find a way of doing it. So, we borrowed some money. We purchased an old laser. We brought it into a science classroom at the local Y. We took it apart, and the joke is we filled the room up with theatrical smoke. And as the smoke was billowing out of the room, the kids were piling in.
Okay.
And we realized that we were onto something really special by finding new and engaging ways of teaching science to children. It's not about textbook molarity and things like that. It's about turning kids onto science, changing their attitudes about the way they see science in the world around them, and making it fun and exciting. So maybe at some point down the road in their careers, maybe they'll pursue, a job in STEM as a doctor, as an astronaut, as a dentist, as a scientist. And this is what I wake up every morning doing. So I don't have a lot of other really exciting things going on outside of this.
Wow.
This is what it is.
That's awesome. And you're in almost 30 countries around the world. How many franchises do you have out there right now?
We've got north of 150 franchises. So we're in almost every urban center in North America.
Awesome. So I'm in Seattle. Do you have one in Seattle?
I think we do.
Okay.
They move around. So I would just say anyone interested, you go to madscience.org. There's a locator up there, and you can find it. We also do art programs through through STEM has now become STEAM.
Okay.
So we have a franchise group called toinspire.com, and To Inspire is all about teaching art to children through our partnership with Crayola and Lego. We are not an online program. During COVID, we were online doing all sorts of cool stuff for kids, but really we're a face-to-face, in-person strategy where our franchisees have relationships with schools and camps, and they go to where the kids are, face-to-face, in person, and help excite and motivate and educate with them.
Awesome. So you said you started this with was it your older brother or younger brother?
No, my big brother.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So with your big brother, you were only 13. How old was your brother?
He was 15.
Oh, wow. So only a 2-year difference, right?
Yeah, but a 2-year difference at that age, he was a good 1.5 feet taller than me.
Wow. Did you catch up?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's shorter now.
That's awesome. So, how involved were your parents? Because I had to believe at 13 or 15 years of age that they had to kind of help you guys kind of get the business set up, that kind of thing. Like, how did that work out?
It's a really good question, actually. So my father is a scientist by training. So he was encouraging, when we wanted to get money for this laser, his question is, what are you going to do with it? And how are you going to generate a return? Which was important because we didn't understand, the world of economics. My mom's a musician.
Okay.
And, although I never picked up being able to play instruments, her being a pianist, I developed a love for music. And, our parents were really accommodating. They let us run our business out of our basement until, there was so much traffic that they just couldn't do it anymore.
Sure.
And then we had to move out, in terms of move out our business at least and run it out of a more professional environment, which was good because that was the beginning of the start.
Absolutely. Wow. So, did you guys initially have the thought, okay, we found something that's great, young people love it, parents love it, schools might even love it. How did you come up with the concept of, okay, in order to grow this, we need to expand it by franchising?
So we stumbled onto this whole notion of experiential learning.
Okay.
And we realized early on, when it was not a thing, that kids learn more by doing.
Sure.
So when we realized that, back to this laser example, by, filling a room up with theatrical smoke and taking apart a helium neon laser and showing the cathode and the anode and the light and how it works and the mirrors, and allowed the children to have mirrors and make laser light shows, and we turned it into something fun. We realized that whole hands-on, minds-on strategy was special. And although we didn't understand the hardcore educational value of what was going on, we knew that we were doing something special.
Sure.
So we pioneered this. We were the first, we were the first to go into schools and convince them to let us run an after-school program. Karate and music and gym and dodgeball and all those other activities came after us. And so we realized we were onto something. And as our classes filled up, when Ariel, my partner, substituted for a science class at the local Y, there were like 6 kids in there. When we were through, we had something like, 25 kids in the class and a waiting list of 100.
Wow.
So it didn't take, the world's most bright minds to figure out that there's an opportunity here. So we did 1 class and then 2 classes and then 4 classes and 6 classes. And all of a sudden, well, we don't have enough time to do more classes. Well, what are we going to do? Well, we need to hire someone. Well, if you're hiring, you need to train and you need to get equipment for them and you need to schedule their time and you need to be able to buy supplies for them. They need to get to where they're going and you need to pay them and you need to then, support their payroll and on. And it really was this very small little incremental steps, month by month, year by year. And after 36 years, which is a lifetime.
Sure.
I know this because I'm getting old. You kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, really, this was all about experiential learning. We grew slowly. We learned our way through and we helped pioneer this industry, which is really, I don't think there's a city, or at least not an urban city in the world, that doesn't have some form of mad science in science or some other space.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the future, right? The future is now. So
right. And now everyone's doing it. And we're such big supporters. As long as people do a good job, it's great for everyone.
100%.
So we created this franchise program where we find people that have these wonderful relationships within their communities. We teach them how to deliver mad science. We teach them how to run a business. And if they love what they're doing, they'll never work a day in their life. Their job then is to go find the staff. How do you get 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 people to deliver these services in a really great way? Because schools don't know me. They know the person delivering mad science. They're the mad scientist.
Absolutely.
So, it is a full-time, ongoing, massive effort for us to really recruit the army of people that we need every day to deliver wonderful science to kids in every city that we're in.
Awesome. So a franchisee, maybe somebody is really super interested in what you're saying right now. Would they have to quit their current job to do this? Is it something they can do on the weekends and evenings? Like, how would that work?
Well, if they want to work for mad science, as long as they have a few hours during the day after school, mad science is super accommodating in terms of their scheduling.
Okay.
Beyond that, if they actually want to own and operate their own mad science facility, it's a full-time dedicated job. It's a lot. You're running hundreds of programs simultaneously, using technology to coordinate the equipment and the kits and the materials and the people to make sure the right people are at the right place doing the right thing at the right time.
Awesome.
And so it's a fair amount of work. It's a wonderful business. And, it's not just science. There's 2inspired.com, which does this for art.
Right. That's the A in STEAM. Yeah.
Right. It's the A in STEAM. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what we're all about. And this is what we do. And I think we do it better than anyone else. Certainly we do more of it than anyone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just so I'm clear, on the one hand, you could have someone that's interested in actually owning their own franchise.
Right.
And on the other hand, you actually have a mechanism where people can actually work for mad science. Is that correct?
Exactly. Having been around, we have some of our original staff that have been with us for decades. We have many of our original franchisees that, this was their first business that they owned, and they've been with us for many, 25 plus years in some cases, and some of them are ready to retire. So, there are such wonderful opportunities for people that want to step into an ongoing concern, a real business with real customers that love our brand and our logo and what we do and what we're all about. And they can step in and they can pick it up.
Wow.
Or, they can start something completely new in a location where we don't have operations anywhere in Canada, the US, the UK, pick a country.
Right.
They can start something from scratch as well. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to do something interesting because it's reasonably inexpensive to get into. If you love children and love science or art, this is a great way to work with children. And it's an opportunity to build something that lasts. We've been doing this a long time, uninterrupted.
Sure. It sounds like 100% you guys are the leader in the space. I know you said that you're in 29 plus countries. I actually had the opportunity to work as a school administrator in Kuwait. Are you guys in the Middle East as well?
We are.
Okay. Good.
Absolutely. So yes, we're in several Middle Eastern countries. Again, you go to madscience.org and you check out exactly where we are. And if you want to work for a franchise, there's a way to contact the location near you and see if you can get a job for them, working with them. If you're interested in a franchise, well, certainly you can call us up and see if there's something that meets your needs.
Absolutely.
We are highly accommodating. For us, it's most important that we find the right type of people with the right type of skills that deliver wonderful quality that represent Mad Science and our brand in a professional, enduring way. This is our most important factor.
Absolutely.
The rest we figure out.
I like that. How long does the process take? Let's say there's someone that's watching us right now. They're super interested. They want to take on this as a potential business opportunity. And what would the process look like from a timeline perspective?
Well, it's a good question. I think they would log on to our website. They would fill out, it probably is a very short application under, join our team or become a franchisee. They answer the questions and they probably get a call back within a very short period of time. At least I hope they would.
Yeah.
Certainly we only get involved with people that don't have criminal records, that are great with kids, that are trustworthy and all of that stuff. They have to have the means to be able to support a startup or an ongoing operation within their communities. But barring that, it's not that complicated.
Sure. So when you say have the means, are you talking, is there a specific dollar amount that they need to have, or is there a range that they would need to have?
It depends on the business. If you're picking up an ongoing concern that's huge, you need to be able to make sure, or we need to make sure that you have the business skills and the cash flow capabilities to keep it rolling. If you're picking up something new that, doesn't have any market share, it's not expensive.
Right.
So it's all dependent on what you're looking for and, how motivated you are. We've got some franchisees that have several locations.
Wow. Okay.
Right. They own our art programs. They own several Mad Science locations. They're helping others. They're providing mentorship. There's some really clever people within our community that we all learn from every day.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, I'm sitting here obviously as a school administrator myself. I'm at the high school level, but I'm also a parent too, right? I have an elementary age daughter. I have a middle school age son. And I know that, I see the future. I'm living in Seattle. It's the home of Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks, and just really trying to make sure that as, young brown kids, my wife's Colombian and I'm African American, that they take some sort of interest in, STEAM, because I just know that's the future. I'm just really looking at it from that standpoint, like, how can we ensure that, a really amazing program like your own can really impact, Black and brown communities?
You are 100% right. The division of STEM and STEM education is not equal across the United States, certainly. Yeah. Having done tons of programs myself personally in inner city schools, the children are not as sophisticated.
Yeah.
You don't have access to the same type of science education. But what I have noticed is they are highly motivated, super interested, very engaged. Like they used to walk to my car and help me bring my stuff into the classroom and hang around and want to do more. And they provided, to me, dividends of feedback and interest levels that was just super heartwarming.
Yeah.
I think first, let's start off by saying experiential learning is deeply important. Yeah. The idea of helping children understand how to do things during their habit-forming years matters. In other words, if you reach a child or a young adult in their 20s, they already have ideas about what they want to be, what they want to do, what they like, where they want to go. What you want to do is reach kids when they're young and impressionable.
Yes.
Science is cool. Science is available. You can do it. It's interesting. It's fun. Why don't you check it out? Now, if their attitudes are open towards science, and a group like Mad Science does this really well, we change their attitudes about the way they see science and the world around them. You wrap them up with a teacher that's inspirational, that's engaging, that's encouraging, that's motivating.
Absolutely.
Well, now you've got the recipe for success. There's no such thing as bad kids. If they take children and they help them unlock their potential and change their attitudes about how they see science and the world around them.
Yeah.
Now it's like they've become an open book.
Yeah.
And if the schools are delivering extracurricular programmings and bringing in programs like Mad Science, it doesn't have to be us, there's others. And those children are impacted and influenced. Well, what's not to say that they can't continue in school? It doesn't have to be a fancy Ivy private school. It could be a public school with a kind teacher that cares. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, if children live in communities where things are difficult, it will be more work for them because money makes life easier.
That's true.
It does. And if they work a little harder and they try a little more and they are resilient, they can do anything.
Yeah, that's real.
And I say 100% for the Black and brown communities. Absolutely. Please try, to the kids out there, don't give up, pursue your dreams, use the grit and determination that you were born with,
Absolutely.
that your ancestors gave you.
Yes.
And fight.
Yeah.
Not on the streets, but for your own personal success.
100%.
And when people say, they didn't get an education and they were successful in life because they became a successful rapper or entrepreneur, it's true, but the odds are not in your favor.
That's so true. So true.
If you have a good education, no one can take what's between your ears away from you. And you will always be able to get a good job that provides for your family, that gives you the personal and professional growth that make you happy in your life.
Oh, I love it. That's so well said. While you were talking, I was thinking, Jeff Bezos founded basically a rocket company called Blue Origin. A Black or brown person has a greater chance of working for him as a rocket scientist than they ever would have of working or becoming a rapper or becoming a professional athlete. And they don't even realize that. And that job as a scientist for Blue Origin would pay infinitely more over the course of a lifetime than maybe a 3 or 4 year stint in a professional league. So, yeah, that's really powerful. And truthfully, as we're talking, as you're sharing, all the opportunities that Mad Science offers, like I could just see so many possibilities with school districts. So I do have a few other questions as it relates to this. So you said you and your brother started this company at 13 and 15. What is the youngest age that a young person or an adult can work for you guys if they're working on, the employee side?
Well, we have many positions beyond merely, I shouldn't say merely, by delivering science services and enrichment services to kids. We do a lot more than just that.
Okay.
So we have equipment managers and people that keep our equipment organized, and there's growth opportunity to go from someone who's helping us with equipment to someone who's actually trained in delivering content within the schools. Okay. So as long as it's legal for you to be working and you're smart and you're hungry and you're capable and you're respectful and you're punctual, you can do anything. It doesn't mean your first job has to just be working at McDonald's where you're flipping burgers. Like, you can do things that actually have a career path, even though working for McDonald's does offer wonderful career opportunities as well.
Sure. No, that's good. Okay. That's good to know. All right. So we definitely want to get all the contact information from you in the show notes so we can share that with everyone. But in terms of, I know we had talked earlier about timeline. So if they, just from A to Z, if they wanted to be a franchise owner with all the background checks, all the, vetting of people that are interested, what is a realistic timeline for someone that would, be interested, go to the website, apply, and then actually start working with or for Mad Science?
Well, to work for Mad Science, you can apply and they probably will need you right away. Our franchisees aggressively look for staff because that's the thing that is most difficult for us, finding quality staff that can deliver our services in a way that, is good for mad science and good for their communities. So you can apply today and get a job tomorrow.
Okay.
If you'd like to open your own mad science location, that could take a couple of months to maybe go through that process if your ducks are in order. We're not interested in making this take any longer than it should. If you're wonderful and capable, we want you.
Absolutely.
And, to all the science teachers out there and to the regular educators, and I say regular, their job, your job, if you're an educator, is far more difficult than mine. When I go into a classroom and I work with kids, I'm Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus because I'm in there for a really short period of time.
Sure.
I'm bringing some unbelievably fun and exciting stuff into a classroom that kids are going to enjoy. We're rigging the game to be fun and engaging and exciting, and the kids will love every minute of it. Mm-hmm. But once we leave that classroom, we see these kids as these free radicals. We've charged them up. They're bouncing, they're excited, they're ready to go. But what happens next? Well, it's the educator that then is responsible to take that excitement and that enthusiasm and that energy and transform and channel it into something that actually delivers meaning to kids.
Awesome.
So we excite kids about science. You create scientists through the everyday experience of working with them and transforming and guiding their lives. It is the most noble profession on earth, I believe. Yeah. And any government or any organization that does not value the importance of children and the people that teach and train them is neglecting their future, because these are the people that will code our technology, invent everything that we need for the future, that will help us compete in a technologically advanced future. And in fact, just to quote, there was an interview once with a wonderful president, Ron Reagan.
Yeah.
And someone once asked him, saying, how does it feel not having grown up with all this incredible technology? And I remember I saw this interview and he stopped and he kind of turned his head a little bit and he says, we didn't grow up with all of this incredible tech. We invented it.
Oh, that's powerful.
And I leave you with that thought.
That is really powerful, Ron. Thank you so much for sharing it. Hey, look, I'm so grateful that you came on our show and just shared all the great opportunities with Mad Science. But before you leave, Ron, could you leave our viewers with some parting words of wisdom? Tell us how we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Sure. So to connect with Mad Science is a piece of cake. It's madscience.org. That's mad, M-A-D, science, SCIENC.org. Or to inspire, the number 2,
okay.
Inspire.com. If you're interested in art or if you're interested in science, you can look up our locations. You can become a franchisee. You can join our team. You can call up and say hi and give us a great story. And in fact, if you are a former Mad Science instructor or a current Mad Science instructor and you want to share a story, my email is ron@madscience.org. Really easy. I love hearing the stories of people that were influenced, hopefully positively, by Mad Science over the years. Perhaps we've helped their children, perhaps we've helped them, perhaps we've influenced their future careers in STEM. I pass those along to our team every single time, and it makes our day.
Awesome.
So to all of you folks out there, being an educator is a mission in life. I thank you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do. I believe and hope in the future educators will be better recognized and better rewarded for their life-changing efforts that they put in each and every day of work. And just don't forget that what you're doing is so important to the future of our country and to the future of our children.
Absolutely.
And if you remember that every single day, it'll get you through the difficult times.
Love it. Once again, my friend, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. We definitely wish you all the best. You definitely got me interested. We're definitely going to continue this conversation as it relates to some of the ideas that I might have as I move forward with working with your organization. So thank you so much, Ron, and we appreciate you. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks for having. Many thanks.